757. I'm glad that you're able to make it this afternoon. And of course, I couldn't do a show unless I bring the one and only my colleague from Old Dominion University, WODU Studios, the one and only Simply C. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Good. I'm chilling.
I know. I always have to say thank you so much for stepping up whenever I call for you to help co-host the show. I know you're a very busy person, and with me is I can't do the show without you. I can't do it without you. And I want to take time to say uh, to the listening audience and those as they charm in today. Want to take time to say congratulations to
Thank
Simply
you.
C. Simply C's got that sheepskin now, boy. That's that old school talk.
Oh, I
When
hadn't heard that phrase before.
you never heard that. When you get the sheepskin, that's
Not
when you get
that
that.
phrase.
Yeah, it's called. That's when you get that diploma.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
sheepskin. You
Yeah.
know that you don't put in the work, you put in the
Yes.
labor, and
Like
it's
7 years.
it's yeah, and it's well deserved to talk about it and to let people celebrate you because you are the future generation, and to
Yeah.
also um, share that information with their young people. So, how does it feel being a graduate and you feel, you know, you got the stage?
I mean, I feel a lot more relief. I can actually breathe and kind of think now.
Mhm,
It was really stressing me because it was taking me so long to get it done. Um, at the most, I had expected to be in school for 5 years, and it turned into 7 or 6.5.
mhm,
Um, But now that I'm finished, I can breathe. Like, I don't have to take any classes. I'm taking a couple classes for fun.
mhm.
I don't have to meet any requirements right now. I can just enjoy myself and learn like I want to.
Right.
And I know that's going to make a difference. And then I do want to continue my education, but I'm taking space to make sure I'm ready to do that.
That's great. That's what life is supposed to be. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Um, and let people understand that everything is not for everybody, but if you put your foot forward and your mind to it, you can accomplish your goals.
Yeah.
People will tell you you can't do this or you can't do that, but since I have met you, like I tell people, I don't usually do a lot of interviews, but it's just the way you express yourself when I first met you. And you had your sister and one of the young men you was working with from High C Malcolm and David. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it for you, because I don't really do talk shows. This is like a job when I do this,
Yeah.
so when people ask me to come on their show, it's like, mm, and I turn down a lot. But nevertheless, I really admire you putting, being determined in what you want to do. So I could say I was there with part of the situation, and 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 my family and us, we really appreciate, and admire that you stuck to your guns and accomplished the goal.
Don't make me cry because I
Yeah,
appreciate you guys too.
yeah. You're like the daughter that we never had.
Yeah.
You know, the one that we didn't have was send allowance to every week. "Well, I want this for dinner, or I want that for breakfast,
Mhm.
but it was, and and when you get to know a person and you know, people have a way of disagreeing or saying things, I call it out of the side of the mouth, and I get offensive because it's like when you meet people, they like family. And if
Yeah,
you can't protect the family, how can you say that you're friends? You know,
right.
nobody has the power, I mean, the authority to sit and de- demeanor somebody because you don't agree with them. We all have amount of to
Perspective.
yeah, respect, and especially if we, colleagues uh, and most of friendship, and you sit by and people can say what they want, and then they have a tendency of you give them, as my mom say in the old school way, I'm gonna give you enough rope to hang yourself.
Mhm.
It ain't personal, it's just business.
Mhm.
And I really respect, the things that you've been through with your family members, and it's just, several tragedies back to back, and but yet you didn't give up.
I almost did a couple times, but people wouldn't let me. So,
Right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You didn't give up, and you had that support of your family and friends that admire you for that. And that's why I always try to get you to come on and co-host, so that people can understand. We go through a lot of stuff in our lives, but nobody wants to talk about it, or nobody wants to
no.
and
I
nobody wants to
remember
document it.
no, yeah, no, I remember when my grandma passed, fussing at my mom about that, where I didn't know what to do with what I was feeling.
Uh-huh.
And she was trying to get me to talk about it before. And when I finally did, I was just frustrated because I said, people have passed before and nobody's talked about it.
Right.
And then when people do pass in your circle, they don't talk about it, they just withdraw. Um, so I try to be as open as possible about my process when I talk to people so that when they get to that experience, they don't feel like that because I felt
Right.
really isolated.
Mhm. And that's the point of talking, having dialogue, so that people can understand if you made it, you can make it, they can make it too. The system is not broken. The system is that we don't share our emotional drama and, seeking help. That's why
Mhm.
all the gun violence in the community is going on, because nobody is listening to the young people, and they're not talking to the young people. They are barking at the young people. And
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're not, so if you're not understanding their plight, what they're going through, then how can they trust you?
right,
Because the most important thing is trust. You got to gain trust in order to get one to stop, uh, and understand that I need help, you know. So,
right.
we go through it, but again, 100%, accolades to you. Because like I can say I was there with part of that you going through, because I was at WODU Radio Studios. Yeah. And I know you put in a lot of work, and you know, and mentoring other people, like David, and you had your sister over, and it's like, you made sure that you took time out for them. The thing is, people can say I helped somebody, but the other thing, did you help, or did you try to show that you needed them to do a study or do a paper, research paper, but you sincerely cared and stuff, about what you was doing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So moving on to the Oscar. What did you think about the Oscars on Sunday night, if you caught any of it?
I honestly forgot to watch it, between
Oh.
when we talked last time,
Hmm.
but I did catch that one clip with Jay-Z and his daughter, um, giving their acceptance speech.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I don't expect much from those award shows,
Uh-huh.
at least for honoring true art. I think they're like popularity contests on a bigger scale,
Right.
or with a bigger budget than most things, so I just focus on my experiences that I have in the community.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I don't know, I'm not surprised by what I've been hearing though either.
Yeah, because I thought I was watching the whole thing. I must have dozed off or went to the kitchen to get a soda or something. But they arrested Killer Mike.
I didn't see any of that.
Yeah,
I
they
can look
arrested.
it up.
They came on stage while he was giving his acceptance speech and put him in handcuffs.
Wow. Was he avoiding it?
No, they said he was arrested because he had assaulted a one of the ushers or attendants there.
Same day?
Huh?
The same day?
Yeah, yeah. He might have, you know how we get sometime, we get hype, and he had a couple of bottles of, more or
Oh,
whatever they drinking, and somebody gonna, out the side of their mouth say something slick. And you know
mhm,
how we are. We ain't going for it, especially when we got bank. And
mhm,
he's well known in the Afro American community, not just in music, but an advocate in trying to get the black community, on track. But they arrested him. They could have did that after he got the awards and came off the stage
mhm.
behind the curtains.
Oh, that's not bad then.
No, they didn't do it. They did it while he was on the stage.
No, oh, I thought oh, never mind.
Yeah, yeah. They
I
they
was
did
saying
it
at
while
least they gave him the dignity of not being
no.
so but yeah, no. They
They
made an image out of him.
that's the embarrassment.
Yeah.
We're going to end. Their thing is because I done been, like I keep telling people, I done been through a lot just being a club manager, owner, promoter. They call it, we embarrass you.
Yeah.
How can you embarrass a black man when my ancestors were enslaved, were in chains?
It's public. It's the
you,
perspective others have of you.
yeah, you embarrass me by putting me in handcuffs.
Mm,
Stop. Yes,
mhm,
boss. I understand, boss. Every time you say something that they don't like, they'll put you under arrest. I've been arrested. I keep telling people, I've been arrested more than any club manager in the 757.
mhm,
If you say something to them they don't like, they put you in handcuffs so they can have an excuse to put their hands on you. Because if you say something and they don't like it, they got to
mhm,
sit there and take it. And when they don't want to take it anymore, they put you in handcuffs so they can rough you up.
mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So I done been through that, you know, been throw up against the wall, hitting the head with the flashlight, So I keep telling people it doesn't bother me because the simple reason is I know I ain't done nothing wrong.
Yeah,
When you know you ain't done nothing wrong, you're not embarrassing me, you're embarrassing yourself.
right.
When I go to court, and like I said, I've been tried so many times in court. And if I had did something wrong, then why did the judge dismiss it?
Right.
Why is you got three city attorneys, you got 6 or 7 police officers, 3 or 4 fire marshals. Why did the judge dismiss it?
Right. 'Cause there ain't nothing to stand on.
Right. So when we get to the point that when we think that we are doing things that are right, because I'm not going to be disrespectful to anybody. I don't care what your color is. I'm not going to be disrespectful. But one most of the thing is I'm not going to let you disrespect me,
Mhm.
you know. And like the old school, I can give you a tongue lashing. It's called tongue lashing when you disagree
Talking
with
to them.
somebody without
Yeah.
putting your hands on them. But with everything that goes on, and getting to the part about Jay-Z, like spoke to you when coming on the show, when what he did is going back to Kanye West.
I need to look that up
Yeah,
because I really wanna know how he handled that.
yeah. Kanye came on when Taylor was getting the award.
Mhm.
Kanye came up on the stage and took the mic from her and said, "What is this? Here's Beyonce. All these Grammys she done, all these awards she done won, but
Mhm.
never won the artist award of the year."
They are wrong for the photo they chose in that scene.
Right. And it's
'Cause
like,
he's handling calmly from what I'm looking at.
yeah,
I mean, he's being assertive, but he's not being aggressive directed
right,
towards her because it's not about her, it's about
right,
the system.
right.
Yeah,
That's what he was saying. He said, how can you, how come Beyonce didn't get all the awards she done got, accolades? She's never got of the
the
year, you know.
yeah,
And, you know, they do that because now she's the only person that's got 4 awards of the year,
right.
Taylor Swift. And that's embarrassing when, you know, um, with Beyonce sitting there. But Jay-Z handled it cool though. He didn't
That's
rumble
what I
around.
really appreciated about the video because I misheard because I was on the phone with a friend when I was watching it, so
Uh-uh.
I misheard him saying it about his wife. I just heard the comment of him saying that, and they still didn't get album of the year. And I just was like, "What do you expect? These people aren't like, they're not out here for our benefit, they're out here for
Right.
their own benefit." So,
Hello.
like, you making that statement, if the public hasn't figured that out by now, we're in 2024. Like, when has it ever been a priority to put us in the spotlight?
Right.
When it's not been our own people. Like, we have to just do our own thing.
But another thing they're not taking notice of, and I like all music, all genres of music because we created it in the first place, So let's get it straight. Let's get it straight. We created the music, you know, but the evildoer tampered with it because he saw God gave us music so that we could communicate with him. That's why Satan was the minister of music in heaven. He was jealous because of the worship, the humans worship God through music. So he tried to corrupt the humans. So everything else started going downhill. But they're not noticing again.
Mhm.
You saw it. If you pay attention, they most of the people that are winning are white people.
That's why I just
And
don't watch those things. It's not that I
right.
have anything against them, it's
Uh-huh.
just it's skewed.
Mhm. But they are calling it what they're winning because they're R&B singers.
Mhm,
They mentioned their category is R&B.
mhm.
Most of the people that won was white.
I didn't watch it. I'm not gonna say I didn't peep it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just
But if you ever
yeah.
get an opportunity to see it,
Mhm.
they're taking out genre music.
They're being acknowledged for our genre of music. I wouldn't say they're taking it.
They taking it. Trust me, they taking it. Why? How many black people you seen? How many black people you see taking pop music?
I haven't paid attention to it. I'm not gonna say many,
Mm.
though.
But this is what I do. I eat and sleep this stuff. That's why
Yeah.
I point it out because the simple reason is our music came gospel,
Mhm,
from gospel, and it goes down. So when they're calling the music, the show Sunday, that the people that won, they are singing R&B, just like I told people about when who was it? Uh, the funeral. They had was it, I forgot the white young lady. They tried to say the pastor touched her. When she came up on the stage, she had to come up there and sing Aretha Franklin music.
Could she hit the same notes?
She came up to sing everything.
I
They pop singers. How can they sing? They don't have the
the range.
right. But
That's my only thing, like,
right,
you have to
she was
train for that.
singing regular music in a sense to say later on in life she can take Aretha Franklin music and remake it. I'm telling you how the game is played, not how it's made.
Oh,
So if they
okay.
want to come back later on and say, I want to make a tribute album to Aretha Franklin.
Then they're training themselves to be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody that we see, you're not born with it, but the rappers, the hip hoppers are teaching them.
Mhm.
So when you learn something and you didn't
Excuse me.
understand it, now you understand it.
Mhm.
It's a whole different game. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not like I love everybody. I love all the music, but we have always been, we got all that's why I do my show and the radio show.
Mhm.
We got all this talent right here in
Mhm.
Virginia. How many people you see on the stage? How many people on stage at the Grammy this year from Virginia? If they're not on the BT Awards,
You know what's funny? One of the artists I used to follow all the time had posted something about like, oh, even though what did they say? It might you guys might not look like you're giving back to the 757, but you just being an example is enough for me. And I was just like, yeah, it's enough for a time. Like I wanted to comment back, it's enough for a time. Being an
right?
example is a big deal. And I'm
Mhm.
not going to take away from that, but at the same time, being present in your community is where you make a difference because you just being by example, they don't understand what the process is to get there. They idolize you, they glorify you, they look to you as something that's either unattainable or unrealistically attainable because
Right,
nobody truly understands how you got there. Is it your network? Is it how good your art is? Because there's a lot of good artists here that just don't have the right marketing team or they don't have the right PR people, or they aren't placing their faces in the right places, or they're
right.
not told about the opportunities that could get them to places like that.
Mhm.
My favorite artist, Masego, I want to know how he made it famous. He was good, and I think he went viral. He's a jazz, trap house jazz. He says he made his own genre of music, but I like it, most of it.
Uh-huh.
But he used to go to ODU, and he
Oh,
used to
okay.
play his instrument outside, and then he made a song that went popular, and I don't
Mhm.
know if it got picked up by the right people or if he just placed himself in the right places, but he spent a lot of time here out in the community like a lot of these artists are, and then something worked for him and he went international.
Right.
But
It
this I don't know.
it only takes people to come together and to be able to show support.
Yeah, that too.
Because if you got 10 people, 10 times 10 is what?
100,
10 times 100 is what?
1,000.
Okay. That's how the numbers grow. That's how it works. I don't have to say, everybody's not going to like me,
Right.
but I know if I meet 50 people or 100 people, 10 of them are going to support me.
That's
That,
true.
that's how I built my brand.
Yeah.
I would talk
That's
to,
true. That's true because I remember when I was building my podcast and I would live stream, my friend said I was streaming like water, and I was telling him that I was just trying to get comfortable being in front of the camera. But when you're live streaming on a platform like Bigo or what used to be Omegle, but I think it's Omi TV now, you're
mhm,
meeting a bunch of strangers back to back to back to back to back. And if you just pitch yourself, then they have genuine interest in who you are. And they say, oh, well, what do you do? Oh, I have a podcast. Oh, you have a podcast? Well, you're cool peoples. I want to support your podcast. And like you said, it's one out of every 5 to 10 people that you'll have somebody who does that. And the rest of them, they just pass on.
right.
So that would be something I got to remember to tell people that
Yeah.
because it's so easy today. Like, we don't have to go in person and face to face. You just have to
Mhm.
have an online presence.
and everybody's not going to like you. Of course
No,
not.
but you're
If
okay.
if
Like
it
you
was
build that
easy,
tolerance.
yeah. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That too. Yeah.
And the Bible tells you, many come, but
Mhm.
few are chosen.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do it, but some are not chosen. So when you know you're chosen, you have to understand the enemy know you're chosen too. And he's going to be disruptive because he don't want you to win. But that's
Mhm.
why God said, hold on to unchanging hands. It's not about me. It's about how many people, what you're doing is going to affect if you make it. There's somebody, child, out there right today. We'll see this maybe tomorrow, maybe a month later, or a year later, that might be in the same predicament or feeling lonely or depressed and hear your voice and say, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. It's not about how many times you fail, it's how many times you get up.
Yeah.
Because somebody is depending on you. Somebody needs to know I'm not alone. And that's why I said every time I get an opportunity when you're not busy to bring you on. Because once this is recorded, it's there for life on the internet. It's there for life. So 5 years, 2 years, or 100 years, somebody say, hey, I remember you. I saw you on those podcasts. See, I know what it's like because I've been doing this so long. Like I
Yeah.
tell people, if if I'm in New York City in Times Square and people are running down the street calling my name, if I'm in Jersey in the subway at 5 o'clock when everybody's getting off work, hundreds of
Mhm.
people are coming through the crowd screaming my name. If I'm down in North Carolina walking down a dirt road, people are screaming my name. I didn't pay them. I wasn't looking for it. It's because I did what I supposed to do.
Mhm.
I don't do that. If I was making money, I would be somewhere on the beach somewhere. But the point is, the reward comes at the end because anything that's on earth will stay on earth.
Mhm.
The glory belongs to God. And if we can't understand that must continue to do whatever comes our way, it's God's time, it's not ours.
Yeah.
So it's all important so that our young people will say, hey, I ain't never heard nobody say this. I ain't never heard somebody, I got a gun. I need a gun. 6-year-old shooting people.
Yeah. I've seen some of those videos and it's just sad.
Right. So when you see those type of things, and you should be asking you, questioning yourself, what is going on? Why
Mhm.
would a 6-year-old have a gun, shoot a teacher, sneak a gun into school?
Now the elementary schools have to have that same watch that shouldn't have been, but was in high schools and is
Yeah,
in middle school, and it's the babies now. So
yeah.
yeah.
Pipeline to prison. Then they turned the schools into prisons.
Yeah,
You
that
gotta
was
be go ahead.
definitely big when I was a kid.
Mhm.
Because the reading, I think they said if you can't read at a
Third
third
grade,
grade level,
right?
yeah, that was huge. So my mom made sure we were reading all the time, or at least something. We were just participating in something. Like even now, the concept of being bored is foreign to me because growing up, we weren't allowed to be bored. There's too many books in this house. We have a computer, go outside. You have a bike, you have crafts you can make. Like there's too many things you can do to keep yourself occupied, even when you don't have anything that's assigned to you. Um, to keep your mind moving so that you don't fall into those traps that boredom will leave you in.
And that's the key point. We like I said, I done been through everything that they say, the
Mhm.
pipeline, the prison. I was taken out of the third grade. I failed the first time in the repeated the second grade. Pass the next time around. Passed to the third grade. I was in the third, I was in the third grade for
Mhm.
like 1 week. They took me out the third grade and put me in this. At the first time, they call it the ungraded class. I,
Oh.
was, I wasn't even in it a week. Wasn't in the
Mhm.
third grade a week. And what did they give? What kind of books did you read? You ever read the Tom, uh, Tom, Dick, and Harry? Sally. Here comes Sally. Hey, Sally.
Oh.
Where is Dick?
Mhm.
Here comes Dick and Tom. Anybody seen Jane?
Mhm.
Here comes Spot. Run, Spot, run.
Mhm.
This is what you read every day. And they want you to be, but I was glad. Now, it didn't bother me at the time. I just thought I was just going to another class. But then
Yeah.
when I went to the special education class, ungraded class, and my teacher called me to the board to work or solve a problem, and I did it. She said, "Do the next one," and I
So
did.
numbers weren't your problem, it was just the words?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And then after she did that lesson, she called me up to her desk, said, "I don't know why you in here, why you in my class, but everything I asked you to do, you did it."
Yeah.
You know, I asked you to, spelling contest. We do a spelling contest. We have a
Mhm.
list about 15 words or 20, and I spell them all.
Mhm.
And she said, I don't, if you do, she said, if you do, her name was Miss Overton. She said, if you do the work that I give you,
Mhm.
I will get you, I promise you, I'll get you out of my class and get you into a regular class. It don't bother me. I know I'm
You're just a
learning.
kid.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't
Yeah.
excited about, but what happened is I was getting in trouble in her class
Mhm.
because I'm sensitive.
Mhm.
I was helping people with their work.
Mhm.
I was
But
doing
you
their
can't
work
do
for
it for them. Yeah.
right. And back then, what they call corporate punishment. She
Mhm.
would bring me up to the front of the class with the paddle ball thing with the ball on it.
Mhm. My dad said they used to do that when he was in school. You get beat
Yeah,
at school and then you get beat at home.
yeah. She'd call me up to the class in front of the class, saying, "I told you not to help them with their work. You're not
Mhm.
doing them no favors. I know, but I just don't want people to feel I'm sensitive. I
Yeah.
know I'm feeling. It's the pain of you hitting me, not hurting as much as the
Right.
pain that they are. They just want to pass. They just want to get a good grade. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't. The energy that I'm around people, I feel their energy. So to me, I'm just trying to relieve myself of the spiritual part of it because it's hard to bear.
But she had
It,
to teach you how to set those spiritual boundaries.
yeah, I know, but I
You were a kid.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it didn't bother that didn't bother me. It was
Yeah.
the bothering was seeing kids like today, seeing kids get in situations
Yeah.
and people ignore the fact it's easy to stop. And it's a system like you're still in slavery. We're going to keep you there, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
What? That's what you're doing? And it's like it's in TV, you can see everything a person do, and they can come up there and say they didn't do it. Well, we didn't
Yeah.
do that. Ooh, what are they talking about? And we go through the same thing year after year. And it's we are failing the young people, failing them in the sense of we are not paying attention to where their attention needs to be put. Like I ask questions, they'll walk through the neighborhood with 20 police officers,
Mhm.
but they're only walking through the black community. When have you seen 20 black police officers or any officer walk through the white neighborhood knocking on their doors?
Mm-mm. Those neighborhoods are safe enough. They'll have them big glass windows and nothing to cover it.
Right.
I specifically remember we went through Virginia Beach. My mom used to be a real estate agent and she used
Uh-huh.
to farm. So she would just drive and randomly look for places depending on what happened in the day.
Uh-huh.
And there was one street we went on in Virginia Beach that they just had like two-story glass windows, almost like
Yep.
a glass house, but it still had brick
Yep.
design or whatever. And I asked her, like, how do they do that and not have any blinds on their windows? And she's just like,
Right.
they're not worried about that. They'll call the police and they'll come.
Right. That's General Booth. I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
That's off of General Booth.
you know exactly the house I'm talking about.
Right. That's rich. That's where the wealth is
Yeah.
state.
And I didn't understand. I could not understand why are we protecting our windows? Like, you make it decorative inside the house, but still, why do we have to block our windows? But you can walk around as you please. You're not worried about anything. Like, we're not worried, but well,
Yeah.
I as a kid wasn't worried,
Yeah.
but no,
You know,
I've
it's
seen some of them. Yeah, no.
you know,
They leave doors
it
unlocked, and I'm just like, you trust
yeah.
a lot. You trust the
Yeah, they used
system
to
a lot.
leave their doors unlocked. And if you come on in, if you want to, you ain't gotta break
Yeah,
in. Come on in. Get something
yeah.
to eat. Watch TV. Just clean up after you before you leave. Just clean up. That's all. We don't care about that. You know,
Mm-mm.
we over here in France this week. So when we get back, just make sure it's clean up. We ain't,
Mm,
but it's like you enforcing because like I tell people, I go out there in the community,
mhm,
document. And you got Wavy TV 10, you got the Norfolk Police, Wavy TV 10 will go over and knock on a person's door, show their address, and knock on the door, and ask them, can they come out and talk on screen? We want to talk to you to find out if have you heard or seen anybody that
not putting
might have
my
shot
information on the TV. Now, I
crazy.
asked my grandma about that too because I remember wondering why people weren't just honest, and she said two things. One, you don't know how in depth whoever is in trouble is in the community, so you
Mhm.
could be setting yourself up for something later. And two, people don't or can't afford the expenses of court. So
Right.
even if they do come or have to defend themselves, like it doesn't make any sense.
That's the key point. We 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 need to come together as the community in the community because everybody's on a salary
Mm-hmm.
and the people that's on the salary is the one that's keeping the chaos going in the community because they got all the answers. If you had all the answers, then why are we here at the state of emergency? Why are we having deaths and killings? If you got the answer, what is the answer, sir? This is year after year.
Mm-hmm.
Year after year, you're going through the same thing. And everything I have told people, everything I did on my talk shows, you can go back. They are now initiating because, like I told people before on one of my talk shows, I said in the 90s they eliminated. They stopped the draft. So when they stopped the draft, and you could not get in the military if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a GED or a high school diploma.
Oh, they're accepting everybody now.
Right. Let me show you something.
Yeah.
The gangs escalated because why? if you was in the neighborhood, you can go and go in the military, escape.
Mhm.
You can escape the gangs.
Mhm.
Then if they knew that, then how come they just lowered for people that go in the military?
They're desperate because I don't
Yeah,
know,
they
it's
down
they
60,000. They down 60 to 68,000.
I mean, but they're not taking care of their peoples to keep them in anyway, because retention is stupid low.
Right.
And these people that I talk to, I'm in the Student Veterans Association,
Uh-huh.
and there's a lot of veterans who had a positive experience, went in and had a good service and then came
Uh-huh.
out. But then there's a lot of them that the military just messed them up. Or they joined the military to get out of a circumstance because a lot of the recruits are coming from places like ours, military towns. So they joined to get out of their area
Right.
and, like, listening to the story, I'm like, it worked out how it was supposed to, but you also wish they didn't have to go through some of the experiences they went through, like, you're losing friends in battle between a war that you didn't ask for, you're just thrown out there to go take care of or address.
Right.
You have these physical and mental ailments that come from the conditions you were placed under. One person explained it as, um embrace the suck because it never gets better in the military. Something always goes wrong, and you're prepared for something to go wrong. So you're constantly under stress, which is not good for the body. I did a paper on it. It adds to conditions that are already an issue for our community, especially. But these people don't want to go in. They're not talking necessarily about their experiences to encourage people to join. The
Uh-huh.
ones that are having positive experiences, they do share, but it's not it's just word of mouth is not helping their case, and then they're not
Right.
paying comparable to civilian places. Yes, you have a status when you get out of the military, but it's better to go in right out of high school, but right out of high school, a lot of people are doing an education or just working now.
Uh-huh.
So they're no longer interested in committing free service, modern day alternative slavery. You're offering your time for pennies on the dollar, and then you're getting
Mhm.
treated some kind of way for a lifestyle to just set yourself up for your future. Like, a lot of people don't understand where that cost benefit weighs, and for a lot of people, it doesn't matter to them.
Right. So it's just that when you're dealt the hand that you're dealt, it's hard to you either you're damned if you do and you're damned
Yeah,
if you don't. It's
that's what it looked like
yeah.
sometimes.
So with now that they don't have to have a diploma or GED to join the
Hopefully,
military.
people join.
Yeah. Well, at
I mean,
least
because
it'll
we
cut
still
down.
need defense.
Yeah. But if they cut down on the pipeline to prison, I think I would take going in the military
Yeah,
because that's what they used to do back in the day because it was during the Vietnam War that people would go into the judge and say, okay, you committed this crime. You got one or two choices.
service.
You either join the military or you go to prison for 10 to 20 years. You make the
Maybe
decision.
it depends on the judge, because I
Yeah.
feel like they still do something like that. And I know
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of people who, like, especially if they haven't figured things out by now, are
Uh-huh.
deciding to join so that they can have that stability, the guaranteed paycheck, the benefits,
Uh-huh.
um, and keep themselves out of trouble, if that makes sense. So maybe it is still a thing. It's just not talked about as much.
Uh-huh. So it's very it's it's very complicated when it comes to our young people. But to me, again, is showing them love and caring and
Mm,
understanding. It takes time to reach a young person. It's not overnight because their pain and suffering is not overnight. It's not a one night thing. You know, it's been going on so long that when it's presented to people, people are like, "Oh, well, that didn't happen." What? You don't
you
tell
can't
me it didn't?
invalidate somebody's experiences.
Yeah,
That doesn't even open the door. That just
yeah.
shuts it.
But before we go any further, before the time run out. So, what's your outcome? What's your outlook now since you got that sheepskin? What is your
Um,
pursuits in things that you're looking forward to do with your career?
I mostly want to build my content and my business.
Uh,
There's a lot of people who wanted me to help, and I've been like, let me finish my degree first.
okay.
Um, so now that I'm finished, I decided to take some easy classes because I still have some aid. Um, and I remembered that I'm supposed to be vlogging and making content so I can keep practicing editing, find what my fit is for making content because I
Hmm.
like to do behind the scenes things. I'd like to explore more cinematic things, but I don't really have an interest in making movies. I more have an interest in making documentaries and continuing interviews.
Okay.
So, more so plotting out and managing my time and then learning life without structured school, I think is probably
Yeah.
next biggest goal. Because if I can take a little bit and take a break, like my family got to, because I that realized that too. I never took a break after my mom. I kind of just
Hmm.
kept going.
Right.
My dad got to take a break. My sister got to take a break. I haven't taken time to actually do nothing. Um, so I'm gonna take a couple months and do that and just decompress and fully allow myself to process everything. Um, but mostly focusing on my business and then traveling and developing my content.
Okay. Sounds like a great plan to me. You know, maybe when I grow up, I could be able to do the same thing you're doing. You know, every time I think I'm getting there, I don't know, today with everything that begons going on, and I'm not around people as much because of when I had COVID, I stay kind of like, you know, pick and choose where I go, and because I ain't trying to get back in the hospital, and
Mm,
seems like it's always something that affects you that you don't be aware of what's going on. And I hate going to a doctor,
mhm,
but you know I'm going to have to go, again. So it's nothing major. It's just that once you get excited to do something, and but that's how the enemy works, because things happen for a reason, not for a season. But when it comes to advancing the future generation, you just can't give up. You got to keep moving forward, because it's people like you uh, that has to, you got to pass the torch to someone to say, hey, it's up to you now. I done did everything I could do, and I could take it. I took it to the 50-yard line. I couldn't get no further. So it's up to you to take it the rest of the way. And that's why I admire you as the person you are, and appreciate you coming on, because you always continue to to raise the bar. You continue to believe in yourself, and that's the key component when making any type of a documentary or video, is so that somebody will learn something in what they're seeing, and mostly the young people.
and that's the
And
goal, actually. When I had started taking pictures even back in elementary and middle school, I
uh-huh,
realized that we didn't have someone who designated took family photos.
uh-huh,
And so I wanted to be that person. I wanted to make sure I brought my camera to every family event to capture who was there so we could have somebody who could tell us the stories and it wasn't so fragmented.
right,
Um, and then even with now in the interviews, I tell people like you always say too, like you're making history. This is a documentation of your experience. So what do you want to share? This
right,
is your story. I'm just here to guide the conversation so we can get your story out there however you want to be presented.
yeah,
And I will never present you in a way that's going to take away from you. Um, and then I've been blessed still being connected with the radio station. I let them know, like, hey, I want to build my business. I'm going to need extra hands. I'm going to
uh-huh,
need help.
right,
I am not making much money right now,
right,
but I
right,
know it is possible to do college credit. Or if you guys just need experience, log these hours and you can put it under my business and say you have experience filming with Simply First Class Productions LLC, with
right,
Sierra, with Simply CC.
right,
So there's a lot of different ways to do things.
uh-huh.
And I'm blessed to be in the age with the flexibility and the luxury of the internet.
That's so important. So important, for our next generation of leaders. Uh, You know, they're not going to live, but for so long. But scripture says, if I can help somebody along the way, then my living shall not be in vain.
Yeah.
So like I said, is you have, since I've been knowing you, you've always been dedicated. If you say something, you do it, you know. And whenever I have ever called you last minute, night before, 30 minutes before, you'll say, sure, I can do that, you know. And I got a couple of other interviews I got to set up. Even if I don't do them live, I'll record them and
Mm,
play them back. Some of the celebrities, local artists that some are local and some are in other states that I'm playing their music, and they wanted to come on the show,
mm,
and hopefully to get you to set in on it, or to more so carry the interview. Some is, two of them, both of the people that have just reached out the other day, just yesterday, they are both gospel singers, and and just wanted to be able to bring them on, you know, like I said, with a two-side point, you know, your you asking questions from a young experience, and me just holding on from the elderly side. But it's to bridge the gap. You can't bridge it if nobody is, like I keep telling person, what I do is with what I do, but every most of the people that won awards, I was already playing their music.
mhm.
I was already playing, you know, Flowers by Myra Cyrus. I picked it way when it first was on the internet, because I go up and listen to the album. I'm gonna pick
Yeah,
the I'm gonna pick the song that resonate with
yeah.
me. The people that's calling me to be on my show, I picked their songs that resonated with me, and they are getting some notice, you know, and stuff. And in a lot of different genres of music that I'm playing, people are like, "Whoa, thank you for texting me back saying thank you for playing my music."
Mhm,
I'm getting notice. Thank you so much. And I'm not the only one that's playing it, but I put emphasis on it because I'm doing it and upload it into my radio station and formatting it when I go live. It's important that somebody has to do the work. Even sometimes we don't get paid for it. The reward is in somebody got to make it up the hill.
mhm.
Somebody got to get to the top of the mountain, you know. And if we all just sit aside and say, well, we ain't going to help, then nobody gets
Nobody's
up the
gonna go anywhere. Yeah.
mountain. So, do you have any closing words for today's show? Or what would you tell a young person that's looking for a career or looking to improve their life lesson here on the planet called Mother Earth?
To be patient, um, and keep through the process and surround yourself with people who are gonna continue to build and uplift you, because I couldn't be here today by myself, and I'm still not where I'm supposed to be, um, but I'm forever grateful for your influence and you and your wife being excuse me.
I'm gonna do a share. I'm gonna do a share moment on you. Snap out of it. It's called satire. To break the in it. It's when people are spiritual. People don't understand is that when you get into the, you know, you never know when something will hit you. It just does. And you're just as motivating to me than any, most people that I know. And I don't have a lot of people I associate with. I know a lot of people, but is you want to be around people that understand that it's not about me, it's about you. God put people in your life so that you could always have someone there. And that's what I'm saying with you. You was always there when I call you. You're always there. You never say no. I'm busy. Or you might say maybe the next time, or I got a meeting. I'll try to step in for a minute. And it's the consistency. It's the consistency. You're still trying. You're still learning. You're still in the learning process. But through that process, you'll you'll rise up to be a champion. It might not seem like you're going nowhere, but in God's time, He said, I got a servant on the planet called Mother Earth that's in training. And when it's time for me to call them, they will rise to the occasion. It's never, never should be about us as a person, me or you. It's about the next generation because that's why Jesus came in the world so that you and I could have everlasting life. And that's why he passed the torch to us to never give up and keep the faith. And he will see you through. So I didn't mean to cut you off. What you were saying?
You're fine. You kind of tied everything I was trying to say together.
Yeah, you like I say, you're always there. You're always cheerful, and that's the thing is you're always shown what do they call it, tenacity. Maybe if I'm using the right word. I'm not big on using words because I don't like big words. I might be using the wrong one, but you always show compassion for other people. And some people don't always recognize compassion. They think it's a weakness and try to manipulate it to
I
their
prayed
advantage.
those people out of my life
Hey,
because that was
it's
heavy around me after my grandma's passing, and I peeped it, but I was in such a dark space. I couldn't do anything about it.
um,
So I was praying and praying and working hard to get away from those type of people,
right,
which is why my actual circle is so small. But similar to you, like I'm familiar with a lot of people, but how many people actually know who I am? It's not very many.
right. Well, sometimes it's not to be known by everybody, but it's God has he pick and choose the people that he wants you to be known by. So when God opens up that door, it shines. That's why you in training. When you in training, God said, when it's time for me to call on you, then I know that I have a soldier that will carry the cross or the banner. We are soldiers in the army of God, and we have to stand here and fight until I die. Old gospel song, you know. So when we do things, we're in a battle. We're here to learn until God calls us to the next level of life. We have to continue to fight the struggle because somebody behind us is looking for that door to be open for them. And you have to pick and choose, you know, as they say, as my mom used to tell me, everybody that's smiling in your face ain't your friend.
Ancient friend. Yeah.
I said, "Dad, I thought they liked me." She said, "Yeah,
Mm,
as long as they can get what they want from
something
you.
from you. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they can do that, then they'll be okay." But
Yeah.
with that said, thank you so much, Simply C, and give them the location of your podcast again. So, you know, it's going to be on 3, 4 different formats here once I go back and do a couple of things and send it out to different forms.
Um, my podcast is Simply First Class Podcast. I'm taking my time on starting that up again, but I do record interviews here and there for YouTube that
Right.
you can find the same way, Simply First Class Podcast. And then Simply CC is my vlogging channel and persona for online.
Okay. And that's the point. I think this is my first podcast for the best of the 757. I
Mm.
haven't done one. I've been doing GA for Justice uh, this year, but this is the first one with you that I've did. I keep putting it
Feel
off,
on.
but I had to, you know, do this one, to kind of get back to where I need to be.
Mhm.
With that said, thank you so much, Simply C. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're looking forward to, some of your podcast shows. All right. Until next time we meet, the next time we greet, remember to love yourself, put God first. Everything else will fall in place. Doesn't matter what others think about you, it's what you think about yourself. Until next time, you've been watching the best of the 757 Community Talk Show.